Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. There was just the two of us just now. We were sorry for being a little bit late. We were waiting for the arrival of Scott, but fuck knows what's happening to him.
Nah, he's just running a little bit late, mate.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just us two right at the minute. But Scott will be joining us momentarily. We wasn't here last week. Obviously, there was an England game last week, and obviously, you don't want to be listening to us while you're listening to the England game, watching the England game. So we thought we'd give you a week's rest. But we're back tonight. There is World Cup games going on at the moment. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. As we were just talking off air, like really enjoying the World Cup at the moment. I'm quite lucky because in work we've got a screen in our office, so I've been able to watch all the games, and even now, like the 3 o'clock games, we can split the screens. I've got both of them on at once. But yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it. It's been a good World Cup so far.
How do they split the screen?
Because we watch it through the internet, so just like open 2 screens up, and yeah, nice. It's good, mate. It's I'm really enjoying it. It's been some good games, some really good games, entertaining games, controversy. I know going into this World Cup there was a lot of controversy anyway with the World Cup being hosted there, but despite all that, I mean, it's been a great World Cup. And as I said, great games and great entertainment. And obviously, last night's controversy with the Germans going out, which I'm happy about. I'm not going to lie. Frank Lampard's ghost goal can go to rest now. We're over that.
Well, they did win the World Cup that year, so I'm sure they'll take that one. To be honest,
yeah. Well, it would have been 2-2 if that had gone in. We ended up losing it 4-1. But
did they win it that year?
2006. 2010, wasn't it? I think they did.
No, they didn't. They won it in 2014. I think Spain won it in 2010.
Oh, yeah, it was Spain. Yeah. But yeah, no, as I said, mate, really entertaining games, some shock results. I mean, as I said to you just a minute ago, I said there was one point yesterday when Spain and Germany were both out for the whole 3 minutes that the nation held their breath thinking, come on, blow the whistle, ref. But no, brilliant. Even today's results. And then obviously there's games going on tonight, but the World Cup starts tomorrow. Knockout stages. That's where it starts. That's what we're all looking forward to.
Yeah, there's been a few shocks so far in the tournament. The two teams, well, the one team that made the biggest shock, have gone out themselves. So, I'm enjoying the unpredictability of it. I haven't seen anybody yet. I haven't seen anybody yet that has said to me, we're runaway winners. Do you know what I mean? Like they're definitely like there's no team that you sometimes in a World Cup you think, oh, they look tasty, you know, they're the team to beat. But I haven't seen that team yet. France looks all right, but honestly,
yeah, I think like the bigger nations have had their moments. I mean, England looked good the other night against Wales. I was really impressed with England the other night. I know it wasn't a great result this time last week. We was watching the 0-0 against the USA, but I think like when you look at it overall, 7 points out of 9 goals scored, 2 goals conceded. I think we've done really well. And now, as I said, look, it's going to be a tough game on Sunday. It will be, but I still think I've been impressed with England. Brazil, they're a bit hit and miss, aren't they? As you said, France, you know, but on the day in the knockout stages, these teams can turn up and punish her. I mean, I remember watching Portugal in their first game, and I think they won 3-2, didn't they? And Portugal was one of these teams that I thought was going to sort of come into it and sort of had a really good tournament, but they're vulnerable, like most teams. There are a lot of teams are conceding goals. I mean, we've only conceded 2 goals, you know, so we're doing all right.
Sorry, everyone. I think it would be France versus Brazil. Can that be? I thought they met each other in a semi-final.
Yeah, I think they're on the same side of the draw, aren't they?
I think so. As far as I was aware, they, you know, I think that's what our side of the draw is. I think we'd meet France in the quarters if we get through. They've got to get through, obviously, and then I think we meet Brazil, don't we?
Yeah, that'll be a tasty. That'll be a tasty affair if we both get through and we meet in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, England versus France. That'll be a massive game next Saturday night. But look, we've got a job to do on Sunday. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. But no, I fancy us, mate. I do.
Chris Topple said he feels sorry for Germany. I don't. I hope that little girl's crying again.
Well, someone said on Twitter earlier, and I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently Germany were filming an All or Nothing series for this World Cup.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Why is it when
ain't lasted long, has it?
Why is it when they do this All or Nothing thing? They always concentrate on a team that fuck up.
Yeah, but to be fair, Germany usually do well in the World Cups. I know last World Cup they didn't get out of the group, but they must have thought, yeah, I think they should have done it with England. I think England would have been a better option, but no, I thought, fuck me, that ain't going to be a long series. It'll only be about 3 episodes.
That'd be good.
Unless they do the 4th one of them sharing the plane home with Wales. How good was it to knock Wales out, by the way?
Yeah, listen, I've had this argument. I had the argument on the podcast last week. You know, Don was saying that he wanted them to do well, and I said, "Fuck them. They never want us to do well." I don't see the point. Like, and I know we've got Welsh fans, and I know we've got Scottish fans, and all that sort of thing. And like, you know, when it comes to West Ham, you know, I respect you all, and all of that sort of thing. But when it comes to international football, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but fuck them. Let them go out. Because I tell you what, if the shoe's on the other foot, there is no love lost for them. And that showed in the Welsh dressing room in the in the Euros before last. So don't worry about them, mate. See you later. Ta-da.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You remember in 2016 when we got knocked out to Iceland and Wales was celebrating. As I said the other night, like that was apparently the best ever Welsh team, and they couldn't even beat one of our poorest England teams in that tournament. I know they got further than us, but I've always been the same. I don't get the home loving like for the home nation.
It only comes for us because they fucking hate everyone.
Yeah, I don't want any of them to do well. Like I don't mind the banter with Scotland. I can take the Scotland because I like that when we play Scotland because they've got no real world superstars, are they? And I always think with Scotland they work hard, but with Wales, like they think because they've got Gareth Bale and Ramsey apparently that like they was expecting to turn up. And I mean, I was speaking to someone when I was watching the game the other night, and he said to me, like a Welsh fan, he said, "You know what? I think we'll turn you over tonight. I fancy us." And he thought he was going to knock us out. I went, "What? So you think you're going to beat England 4-0? He went, "Yeah." I went, "You better go home now, mate. You're going to be very disappointed."
Yeah, that's delusional.
I don't get it, mate. I don't want to see any of them do well. I mean, we're the only home nation, and the rest of the reserves.
Mr. C says it's like they will get offended if you slate them, but we have to accept their condemnation. I think that's right. They you know, they really hate us, but if we, you know, whatever, they're going home anyway. No, it's only us left in it. Fuck them. That's what I say. Let's get onto our subject,
mate. Before we move on, I'm just gonna. Lewis is saying, shout out to the Springhouse members, Ryan. I met Lewis last week for the USA game. Big fan of the channel. There was a couple of people in there, big fans of the channel. Come over to me, said hello. But yeah, Lewis, top man. And hopefully see you on Sunday down there, mate. We'll be cheering on England. Come on, England.
This is a good question before we move on to the subject. We're still waiting for Scott, so we won't rush. Would you support a great British team in the Olympics?
Yeah, because it's different, isn't it? I think it's a little bit different. You know, not that I'm not really sort of. I don't really watch the Olympics. I watch like the 100 meters and things like that, and the women's volleyball. You know, I'm all about that. But yeah, I'm not really. I can't remember really watching the football when it was in 2012. I remember Stuart Pearce was the manager. I think Craig Dawson even played for England in that. I remember we had Craig Bellamy. Yeah. I think Giggs playing that. But
Bell played, didn't he?
Bell, I don't know. But yeah, I'd probably, I wouldn't support them as much as I'd support England, obviously. But yeah.
I never watched a single game of that. I'll be honest.
I mean, I watched more the boxing for Team GB and like the athletics and things like that. But yeah.
Right. Scott doesn't look like he's going to join us anytime soon. So I don't know whether anyone wants to. I'll text him. I suppose I'm the only one here. But let's get on to the subjects, mate. There's been a couple of big bits of news come out this week. Obviously, you've got the Declan Rice comments, which we'll move on to in a second. But first of all, Scamacca. It looks like Napoli are very interested in him. Do you think he would go?
No, I mean, I see pictures of him yesterday in training. He come back, he looked happy. I mean, you're going to get rumours. You're going to get rumours of because at the moment it ain't going well. Obviously, Napoli are going to be interested in him because he's a Italian international. And look, if he ain't settling here, then yeah, I mean, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, whether his family's settled here or he just wants to go back home. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't see that. I think people are it's that time of the year now where people are going to start chucking rumours. We're getting closer to that transfer window. Things ain't going well for West Ham. I know we're going to talk about the Rice situation in a minute, but his comments yesterday obviously hasn't helped the situation. You're going to get rumours and you're always going to get your best players linked away from the club when it ain't going well.
Yeah. Without stirring the pot, and I really don't want to stir the pot because
stir away, mate. Stir away. Stir your pot. Go on, get that big spoon out and stir.
No, I don't want to stir the pot in terms of I don't want to be, the voice and face of a Moyes out movement. You know what I mean? Because I think although my feelings and views have been aired, I'll leave them there. I don't want to be, as I say, the voice and the face of a Moyes out movement and, stir the pot in that way. But if I was the West Ham board, if these players are starting to become disinterested, what's the word I want to look for? If they've lost faith and all of that sort of thing, and are starting to think that this isn't working, I think the board may move to get rid of the manager and get rid of all them players.
Well, yeah, that's the only thing they can do.
Yeah.
If the manager has lost the dressing room, I mean, we don't know this.
We don't know. We don't know. But
the players might be happy with Moyes. You don't know. But if that is the case, and some players do want to start leaving the club because of the manager, then yeah, the board have to act, and they'll have to get rid of David Moyes. Yeah, I'm the same. Look. People know my feelings on. I want Moyes to turn it around. I'd like to see him turn it around, but if he doesn't, I
don't understand the people that I've seen people saying that Moyes. The rumours are that Moyes has got 3 games after the World Cup to save his job. And that would be Arsenal away, which I think is the fucking Leeds away. And then the FA Cup game against Brentford, which are, let's be honest, they're 3 fucking tough games and they're away games. And they're the sort of rumours that are coming around. I can't understand the people that say, well, I'd rather lose them and him and go. Because, I think as a manager, he's deserved the respect and the time for me to try and turn it around. And if he turns it around, what sort of situation would that be where you'd rather us lose him than give him a chance to turn it around? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
I get that, mate, because if a new manager come in and didn't win in his first 5 games, that manager would be in the same situation. People on his back. So
it doesn't make any sense. Moyes has to be using this time, in my mind, to get the players, hold of the players that he's got, and work on what's not working, and use his time as. I know he hasn't got Declan there. I know he hasn't got Lucas Paqueta there, which can't be helped. Tilo Kehra's not. Well, he'll be there today. Who else has he got there? Areola, the goalkeeper, and Aguerd, which is another new signing. I'm sure he would like to have Aguerd back sooner rather than later. I know that, that's obviously not going to, I know that's not going to be favourable to Aguerd because he wants to go as far in the World Cup as he did, and if they've gone through as top of their group, so they might be away for a little while longer. But he needs to be working on with the likes of Antonio, Scamacca, Bowen, which I've heard a fucking damning rumour about him yesterday, but I'll talk about that a bit later. Flynn Downs and some of the defence to try and to try and work out the kinks and work in a way that's going to benefit the team and work around the attacking, because that's where we're strong. We're strong in attack and we're strong in defence. So it doesn't really make sense that people want him to fail just because of that reason. Because I want him gone. I mean, I want to see an attacking style of football. I want Moyes to evolve, but if he can't, then I want him gone. That's what I would say. But let's be fair. He deserves a chance to try and turn it around. If he does what he does for the Crystal Palace and Leicester game, and keeps it the same, even though some of the stuff that's coming out from Moyes' mouth before the break was bizarre. It's bizarre, saying things like, we must be doing something right. We're as good as Leicester. It's not. That doesn't make any fucking sense because, Leicester were bottom of the league, about 3 or 4 games before, we played them. So it doesn't make any sense what he's trying to say. I just hope it's a blip in his managerial career. He can get back hold of it. I don't want Moyes to go, but I'm just saying, with, everything that's stacking up against him now, he better be doing something. He better be changing something, because if he comes back from the World Cup and it's exactly the same, then I wouldn't even give him 2 games if it's the same. If he goes out against Arsenal exactly the same as he went out against Palace and Leicester, I would, and we get beat quite badly and it hasn't changed, I'd say, right, that's enough for me. I really would. Because go on, sorry, mate. Go on.
I think with the comments, obviously it's a man under pressure, isn't he? He's got obviously results ain't going his way. Obviously the fans are on his back, and you're right. I mean, if we come back and people would rather us lose the first few games just to see someone go, then that's just an agenda. That's not really getting behind the players and the manager. I want Moyes to do well, because if Moyes is doing well, West Ham are doing well, the team are doing well, the fans are happier. Look, don't get me wrong, the comments that come out of Pochettino's mouth the other day, the board would have sat up a little bit and think, well, he wants to get back into football. He said he loves London, he lives in London, and if there's any opportunity, and it wouldn't surprise me now if they've already made little meetings with him just to get the feeders out there to think would you want to come to West Ham? Because if that's the case, then look, whatever David Moyes has done for this football club has been brilliant. I know where we are at the moment ain't good, but he will leave this club in a much better position than when he come back in. Let me tell you that for a fact. Because we are in a European competition. What happened last season was memories for everyone. Has he taken the club too far? Maybe he has, and maybe it is a time for him to sort of move on. But as you said, he's earned the right, and I feel the same, to try to turn it around. And I don't think 3 games is fair. I think you got to look at the next 5 games, especially in the league, with the teams we've got. And if he can pick up a few results there and get us up into the top half of the table, I done a show the other week with X last week, and he was saying that there's not going to be much movement in January. Maybe there might be 1 or 2 players coming in, but I think I agree that he has earned the right to try to turn it around.
No, I agree with that. There he is. Let me take some comments quickly. Mick Robson says, "I think this channel and you guys are great, but why do you not add some new faces on Friday nights?" Fuck me, Mick. We struggle to get the fucking old ones here, let alone some fucking new ones.
We can wear masks.
Yeah, mate. It is what it is. It's the show that we all sit down together. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it, mate. Like if you don't like seeing the same old faces, look, this channel is dedicated to giving people voices. We're at every game giving fans a voice.
Well,
Every single fucking game.
That comment, Scott popped up, so that's a new face.
There you go, new face for you. Guys, do you think Moyes can turn it around? Sorry, I don't. Moyes is under pressure and don't believe he can change. That's from John Inglis. Ollie PRJ says, that's the example there. Leicester gave Rodgers time when they wanted him out, and now they're climbing. I feel Moyes has taken us as far as he can. He seems to be safety first manager, just my opinion. Stuart Ling says the fans that want us to lose the first few games after the World Cup have an agenda. As simple as that. Yeah, it's true. The agenda where they want to tell everyone they knew it from the fucking start. That's what the agenda is. Rice is only one of 4 players outside the so-called big boys in the England squad, and he's probably getting plenty of stick banter from most of the other squad for not having won any silverware. We'll talk about that in a second. Talking about rumours. Anyone heard about the one about Ben White going around? No, I haven't. I haven't heard it. Don't say it on air, Scott, please.
No, I have heard it though. There's a couple going around.
The problem with Scamacca is simple. Moyes. I think Soufal and Dawson will leave in January. That young Brazilian centre back as replacement, and maybe a lone right back. We've got a good squad of players, but I agree some players probably aren't happy with Moyes because of where we are in a Prem. I don't think it's where we are in a Prem. I think it's just a style of play. This break would have been an ideal time to replace the manager, give the new manager time. Usual Cesspit says Luis Suarez can now use his teeth for what they were meant to and eat a large slice of humble pie. Josh Brooks White says, "Get to my first ever away game against Arsenal. Can't wait for it. You boys going?" Yes, I'll absolutely be there. Kimbo says, "I think Scamacca is staying, but it looks like Rice is off. So let's get as much as we can for him, and good luck to him." And lads, I watch you boys every Saturday morning back at home in Australia, and now I'm in Qatar. I can finally see you live. Thanks for making the weekends that much better. Thanks, mate, and enjoy your time in Qatar. Right, hello, Scott.
Hello, mate. Sorry about that. I had to wait for the missus to get home.
That's all right.
Running a bit late, so that's why I'm late on. So apologies, everyone.
What, she shoved you under the stairs?
Yeah, were you in Harry Potter's bedroom?
No. I've moved round. She's putting the Christmas tree up and all that, so I've moved round so she can still do what she's got to do.
Just be shoved in the corner.
I've put myself in the corner.
All right, let's say the Boeing rumour I've heard, and this is no way a confirmed rumour, right? So please, this is alleged. I don't know whether this is true, but I've heard it of someone who knows it's a decent source. I don't believe it personally, but apparently he missed training one of these days this week to go and film a TV show with his wife or his future wife. It just didn't turn up to training.
Well, that's not good, is it?
No, I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe it either, to be honest.
I think he's too professional to do something like that. If he's done it, he'll have had permission, without a doubt. Yeah, I don't know. I'd hate to think that he did do that because, yeah, that's just not on. And that's the one thing you don't need at the moment is players just not turning up. But I don't believe that.
I don't think the father-in-law would have it, will he?
He's one of the players that needs to be in training and doing the extra training because let's be honest, his performances this year have been way, way, way below par what we expect from him. So
he hasn't been a standout this season, has he? No. He's not the Bowen that we've been used to seeing the last couple of seasons, or ever since he's come to the football club. To be fair, I thought he started off really well for us. He's had 2 good seasons. He's hit a bad bit of form, and unfortunately, 5, 6, 7, 8 players are the same. You know, it's so something needs to change. But I don't believe that. I can't see him not just turning up for training. They only started back to training yesterday.
Yeah, so would it be he just didn't turn up yesterday?
Well, the good thing about the training photos that come out yesterday was Kurt Zuma was there. So some people were saying he was out for the rest of the season, but no, it was only a minor operation, and hopefully he'll be. We've still got 3 weeks, 4 weeks to
Christmas. It was Boxing Day, isn't it? What's the date today?
Yeah.
It's 24 days. Yeah, over 3 weeks. You got nearly fucking hell. We've still got nearly a month to go.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've been really impressed with Aguerd in the World Cup.
I know
he scored that own goal last night, but he's been unbelievable for Morocco, and they're doing so well. And I'm pleased to see him. I'd rather them going out so he can come home, but I'll allow him because it's more match fitness for him. But
I'll allow him.
But yeah, I'll allow him.
I'll give you that if you want. Go on, have one more game.
I'll let him off because he's getting more game time out there, and it's good because I think he's going to be a key player for us when he comes back.
I think having him and Morocco going as far as they've gone so far is going to benefit us. You know, like you said, he's getting more game time. They're one of the sides that no one really predicted would get out of their group, and they've done it. So it's good because he seems to be playing 90 minutes as well. He looks good. You know, he looks like the player that we're wanting to see. So, you know, this could be a benefit for us, him getting more game time out there.
Yeah, and that's what we need. That's what we need, mate.
Definitely need players like that back. All right, let's address the elephant in the room then. Obviously, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? Declan Rice has come out with an interview. He was doing press conference for England. A reporter's, although I know in them conferences, because I know people out there, they're meant to be strictly country press conferences. One of the journalists has been a bit cheeky and asked him about his club, what about the future. And he come out with the comments that he did. Now, the more shocking thing that I've found about this interview is, you know, did he need to say it? No. But is it anything that he hasn't said before? No. We all know. I mean, I'll let you have your discussions on it first because, you know, I've got my feelings on it. And I do seem to ramble on a little bit. But
the thing is, like, yeah, do I feel Declan should have said it? No, he should have swerved the question. He should have just stuck to England. But Declan's media trained, and look, you're right. It's not saying that we don't know. Look, why would you want football players at your club that haven't got ambition, that want to win things? Of course, but I feel with the situation West Ham are in at the moment, and him being club captain, you know, in his mind, he must have knew that he was going to upset a few fans saying it, and I can understand the banter that goes on in changing rooms, and you've got players that play in the Champions League and winning trophies. But look, last season we was one game away from winning the trophy and getting in the Champions League. So it's I don't want to hear it. You know it's coming. You know he will leave the club eventually. But he's still got 18 months on his contract with a year's extension on it. So I don't think West Ham are going to sell him in January. In the summer, yeah, I can see that going. But listen, as much as I love Declan Rice, and I think Declan Rice is one of the best players in the world in his position, he's been great for England, he's been great for West Ham. You know, I don't want players at the football club that don't want to be there, and I don't care who that is. I honestly don't. You know, we've seen it over the years. We all got upset when Payet left and Arnautovic come in. You forget about Payet. Arnautovic done the same. You get upset with Arnautovic. He goes, you move on. You get your Declan Rice. He'll go. You move on. It will happen. You're going to get players like that leave your club because we're not a club that's going to go out and spend 500, 600, 700 million pounds on players and be in that top four every season unless we get new owners with that ambition and the money. So, look, eventually Declan Rice will leave the club. As I said, I don't think it'll be January. I'm not upset with him. Like, the timing of it, I think is wrong. But it's not, as you said, it's not saying that we haven't heard him say before. And all players should have that ambition.
Yeah, mate, you are right. Look, at the end of the day, the journalist shouldn't have asked that question. It was asked by a journalist who's been banging on, saying that Rice is going to leave the club, Rice should leave the club, and all that type of stuff. So you sort of expect these type of journalists to say them sort of questions. Just so
they do it to legitimise themselves.
Yeah, and that's what he's done. You know, and yeah, Deck never said he wants to leave the club. You know, them words never come out of his mouth. the words of "I want to win trophies with West Ham" never come out of his mouth. What he said is that he's ambitious. He sees his mates playing Champions League football. He wants to play Champions League football. Didn't say he wants to leave West Ham to play Champions League football. He said he wants to play Champions League football.
And I think
at the end of the day,
hang on there, Scott, with what you're saying, I think a lot of people need to take that into consideration. He never actually said that.
Yeah.
A lot of people on Twitter yesterday reacted like he did say that. Like, I want to leave West Ham in January. I want to leave West Ham in the summer. He didn't say that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like you said, right? You want ambitious players. You want players who are going to push themselves and push the other players around them. You know, when you look at the performances from a lot of players this season, like Dec hasn't been the 9s and 10s that we used to, but he's still been one of the top performers in the side, if not the top performer in the side. So it's not like he's going, you know what, I want to go and play Champions League football. I ain't going to put the effort in at West Ham. He's still leading the club. He's still putting his all into the games that he's playing. You know, if he comes back after the World Cup and he's a bit shy and doesn't put these performances in, then we can start questioning it. But at the moment, to me, he's a committed West Ham player who has got the drive and ambition to push the club forward. And if the club don't match his ambition, like we all know, he'll go and play Champions League football.
Yeah, he won't ever down tools for West Ham. No, I've got no doubt about that. Until his last minute in a West Ham shirt, he would give it all, like he has. Because I think there's a little bit of respect there, because he's got to remember that without West Ham, he won't be in the England squad now. He won't be an England national playing in the World Cup, because we picked him up as a kid who's just been released by the club that he supported as a kid, as a 16-year-old. And a lot of players have, over the years, that's happened to, and they're working 9 to 5s now because they never made it in football. But we give Declan Rice that opportunity, and we stuck with him, and we turned him into, as I said, not only a Premier League player with over... What's he got? Over 150 appearances already in the Premier League. It might even be more. And a regular starter for England who's played in the final for England, you know, and now represents, who's one of the first names on the team sheet in the World Cup. So I think there is that little respect for, and I think Declan Rice won't leave the football club. He will make sure that West Ham get the best deal for Declan Rice.
Yeah, of course. And that's it. And the thing is, he stood at the club because of the loyalty. Do you know what I mean? Because the club showed faith in him when he got dropped by his boyhood club Chelsea, we picked him up. You know, we gave him, we showed faith in him, we put him into the side, we've made him the captain, we've made, you know, he's our best player. If he would sign a contract, he'd be our highest paid player. So he stayed at the club now out of loyalty, out of the fact that we've got European football, because he wants to see the club competing for trophies. You know, he could have gone in the summer. If he wanted to, he could have easily gone. He could have forced to move then, but he didn't. Whether West Ham were pricing him out of the market or not, if he wanted to go, he would have gone. He stayed at this football club because of the loyalty that the club's shown him, and he's shown that loyalty back. And look, at the end of the day, if we don't win a trophy this season and we don't get European football next season, then, you know, so long as Dec puts it in all the way till the end of the season, if he goes in the summer, then I wish him well, because he's done everything he can to improve our football club.
Don't worry, Scott. Noble's back in January. Give him a good hiding in that dressing room.
No, but do you know what I think? And the podcast is coming out tomorrow morning. And I said this on the podcast. If he goes into that question, the question's a loaded question, really, because if he turns around and says, like, we all know what's going on. Yeah, we all know what's going on, because before Declan Rice said anything yesterday, it was leaked a week before to an in the know, and it was all confirmed and everything else. Like, you know, one in the know broke the story, another in the know that, you know, is a real in the know, confirmed it. You know, that West Ham will listen to offers for him in the summer. He's not going in January. Oh, you know, get that out of your mind. He's never going to go in January, yeah? But an in the know leaked it, and another in the know confirmed it, yeah? And let's be honest, if the football club didn't want that stuff to get out, it wouldn't get out, yeah? So it's, you know, it's in reality, and we all know this, right? That agreement was made between Rice and the club when he refused to sign his contract. Yeah, when he refused to sign his contract last year, he's probably talking about, do you want to go this summer? And he's probably said, well, I'm not going to sign a contract. I'll, seeing as we're still in Europe, we went so far in Europe, I'll do one more year. And then I'd like to be considered to move club. And the club have probably gone, yes, Declan, thank you very much. We will honour that, right? It happens all the time in football.
A gentleman's agreement.
A gentleman's agreement, yeah. They know that they've still got 2 years on his deal, and he's going to bring, a big fee to West Ham. Whether it's going to be quite £150 million, I don't know. But what he could have done during them contract negotiations, he could have signed a deal for £200,000 a week. He could have then started to play and get paid £200,000 a week. And then come the summer, there's no gentleman's agreement. And he goes, well, I'm not fucking playing for you anymore. Simple as that. But he didn't do that, right? He's on his normal wages and he does it. I quite find the honesty, yeah, although he could have swerved it, yeah. But let's be honest, if a geezer goes to him, blah, 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 Champions League, the question's on the screen. Do you look at people playing the Champions League and want that in the future? And he turns around and goes, I'm not talking about that. It would have been a loaded question because there would have been all sorts of speculation. Declan Rice refuses to commit his future. He could not win whatever he said. In fact, I quite like the honesty because, I've heard, let's go back to when we sold Rio Ferdinand, yeah? I remember Harry Redknapp turning around and saying he's not for sale at any price when Leeds bid 15 million for him. And then 3 days later accepted an £18 million bid. Like, what is the fucking point in that? You're making yourself look stupid. We all know the situation, yeah? The world knows the situation with Declan Rice, right? So just coming out and says, well, I want to play Champions League football. Yeah? It is nothing he hasn't said on Gary Neville's podcast, yeah? Or whatever it was, the overlap. There's nothing. I quite like the honesty, yeah? I quite like it. People, all of a sudden, yeah, there's a little bit of, should you have said that with a situation we're in? Probably, you probably could have just, waited until after the World Cup or after the season to announce what you got to announce. But he's been on, and I think that's where Declan not falls down, but he gets open to criticism because of his openness. He's quite an open guy, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
but as you said, mate, I think that's refreshing from a football player.
It is refreshing,
and you're right. Whatever he said, it was going to be whatever way he worded it was going to be wrong. It was always going to upset someone. He's answered the question. He could have easily turned around and said, "Look, I'm on international duty. I don't want to talk about that at the moment." I mean, someone said it in the chat earlier. The journalist could have said the same thing to Harry Kane because Harry Kane hasn't won a trophy for Spurs. I know he plays in the Champions League, but it's just because he's our player, because he's our best player, and because we love Declan Rice so much, it hurts because we don't want to see him leave the football club, obviously, but we know he will.
But what I'm saying is the way that some people have reacted to that news, it's like it's just come out. It's like the Payet situation all over again. It's not that. And Declan Rice, whether he's going to stay with his football club for the next 6 months or stay with the football club for the next 6 years, he's still going to go out on the pitch when he comes back from international duty and put the same effort and the same tackles and everything that he would have done if he wasn't going. So don't worry about Declan Rice. We know we're losing him. It's just. Let's be honest, it's the beginning of the end of Declan's time with us. And we've been lucky. We've been lucky to it. He's my favourite ever player to come out of the academy. I like everything about the kid. And I think the kid will go to the very top. I think he'll surpass the likes of Rio Ferdinand in what he does and what he wins for England and for his new club. Right? He's my favourite ever player to come out of the academy. And the problem is the truth hurts. The truth hurts. This club isn't in a position to offer him what he wants. And at this particular moment in time, we have to let him go to fulfill his own ambition. That doesn't mean we're not going to be there in the future. That doesn't mean he may not come back if we ever do get the Champions League. That doesn't mean something might not change in 2-3 years' time. It doesn't mean any of that. But just at the moment, we aren't in a position to offer him what his career and what he wants. I think we're lucky to have had him for as long as we've had him, because he's been playing in our team since he was 17, 18 years old. And, he's 23, 24 now. It's time for him to go. It's time for him to spread his wings. We all know this day was coming. And, it is what it is.
I know what you're saying. I don't want him to go and spread his wings. I want him to stay at West Ham for the rest of his career.
But we can't match his ambition, Ryan.
No,
we can't.
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But look, you don't know what can happen in football. Football's a funny game. West Ham could get new owners in a year's time, and things could be completely different. I think he's going to go in the summer. Where do I want to see him go? As far away from the Premier League as possible, because I don't want to be seeing him come to the London Stadium in another shirt. But the only places I could see him probably going is probably Man City or Chelsea. And if someone said to me now, Calvin Phillips and 60 million, I'll take it. Someone said to me, Conor Gallagher and 60 million, I'll take it. Because I think you got to get a fair deal for the football club. I mean, as I said, he's got 18 months left on his contract with another year's extension. So West Ham could just see out his contract if they really wanted to. They could keep him as long as they want and just think, you never know what's going to happen in football. Things might change. As I said, we might get new owners. You never know. But I still think he definitely ain't leaving in January. As you said, no way. I'll be very surprised if he does, unless a silly offer come in.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Unless something ridiculous comes in January, he's not going nowhere till the summer. I wouldn't take 60 million in Gallagher. I'll probably take 70 million, and there's no way I'd take 60 million in Phillips. 100 million in Phillips, then I'll possibly be thinking about it, because that guy's useless.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. How he gets anywhere near the England squad, I don't know. But, that's the thing.
Did he bully you at school or something?
Phillips?
Yeah.
No, I'm just, mate, listen, the guy looks good for England because Rice makes him look good. So he's only gone to City to make up their England quota. Let's be honest. So yeah, don't want him at the football club.
The thing is, Phil
Brown
said there, how do you replace Rice? You don't replace players. Players like that are tough to replace because they're world class. But another player could come in, like you could like Rice could go, and then someone like Flynn Downs could get in the starting lineup, and then he could have a little run like Declan Rice. Because listen, I remember Declan Rice when he first came into the team, and he wasn't the best. I remember him getting dragged off at half time at Newcastle when we was 3-0 down. So I know when these players leave your club, it upsets you, and you think you're never going to replace them. Over time, you will forget about them. You will move on, and there will be other players to come in and fill that gap.
The old reason the club signed Downs was to replace Rice. Now, I'm not saying Downs is the same type of player as Rice or anything like that. The club wanted to sign a holding midfielder to replace Declan Rice. They heard Downs was going to Palace. They jumped at the chance to bring him at the football club so that he'd have a year to be with a player like Declan Rice, learn how to play that game a bit better, and play the holding midfield when he goes. And that's why Downs is at the club. The club see Downs as a long-term replacement for that in that holding midfield role. I'm not sitting there saying that Downs is a better player than Rice, because he's not. But what I'm saying is Downs plays that holding role position. That's what he's been brought in for. So when Rice does go, we've got a ready-made holding midfielder already there, so we can go and use that money to go and sign somewhere else.
The thing that worries me more about Rice leaving, it's not Rice leaving, because I think Rice was always leaving. It's the people that they're talking about that might be replacing Rice, like Oxlade-Chamberlain, which is, I can't get my head around it,
Mate, I remember selling Rio and getting Rigobert Song and TT Kamal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what worries me more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always been feelers putting out for people like Oxlade-Chamberlain, free transfer. If we're going to get like close to 100 million quid for him, and we're looking at free transfers, and like, there are guys here, right? Judy Toon for life. Never attach yourself to a player, attach yourself to a club. Only players will always come and go, but the club will always be at your heart. And look what his club are doing at the moment. You know what I mean? Like they're willing to spend big money, and they're on the way up.
Yeah, but Newcastle over the years are a bit like West Ham. They've always had that one standout player that they've fell in love with, and and eventually they will leave the club. But he's bang on there. It's part of football. It happens. As I said, you had the situation with Payet. He left. Everyone was like, "Oh, what are we going to do?" And Natovic come in. Everyone forgot about Payet. Everyone loved the Natovic. He done what he done. Everyone was thinking, "Oh," and then bang, you're always going to get players come and go. It's part of football.
Mate, I've seen people calling Rice a snake for what he said. It's madness. It's just madness.
Yeah, but you're going to get them sort of people. You're going to get them people that you'll probably get some people booing him when he comes back.
Yeah, that's for me. That's mad. The guy's done all he can to try and get West Ham further up. He played his socks off last season for us.
Look at the semi-final at Frankfurt. Yeah. You know what I mean? And let's be honest, if we beat Frankfurt that day, we beat Rangers.
Yeah, exactly.
And we win that cup, and we would have been in the Champions League, but it wasn't to be. It's just like so many players before it. Like it's in our DNA. Like we all talk about the Tottenham way, but I think the problem is between the Tottenham way and the West Ham way is that we accept it, and they won't accept that there is, failure attached to them. Mm-hmm. Like there's failure attached to us. You know what I mean? Like, but I'll still support my club, and Ryan has still began to fucking hole away, and Newcastle on a December morning like we have done for years and years and years, and it's just. They won't accept it. That's the difference between us. Yeah, it is ingrained in us to be so close but so far.
It's the older generation. It's the young kids, because there are young kids out there that idolise Declan Rice, idolise him.
Of course, my son does. My son the other day. I haven't had the fucking heart to tell him. He sent me a picture of a competition for a Declan Rice shirt. And he's like, please enter this for me. Please enter this for me. Please enter this for me. And I'm like, just chill, man. We'll sort something like that out. We can sort something like that out. And he's like, oh, please, Daddy. Like, it's a competition. He thinks he's going to win it. He idolises him. He's got him on the back of his away kit. He's got him on the back of his own kit. I think own kit last year. He's going to be absolutely fucking devastated.
Don't worry, mate. He'll never get. I'm still not over Julian Dix retiring at 29.
But this is it, isn't it? Of course, there's going to be kids that blame him. But I just hate this sort of Twitter generation that's going to turn on him because he's given us nothing but the best.
Exactly.
The only club that he could go to that people will turn on him is Tottenham.
Tottenham, yeah.
Tottenham, mate. That is it. I won't eat fucking Rice again just for that.
he needs when he leaves, he needs to make the right decision for him, but the right decision for his football career.
He should not go to Chelsea.
Like Spurs, ain't one. Chelsea or City.
No, he should not go to Chelsea. He should not go to Chelsea. Chelsea have got a fucking grim future ahead of them. And any of them that think otherwise is fucking deluded.
But, even Madrid, somewhere like that, he's
the Chelsea is that obviously Chelsea's in his heart. He supports the football club. But I think probably the best move for him would be Man City, I think, under Guardiola. And to be fair, I think even Man United would be a better move for him than Chelsea.
I wouldn't want him to go there, though.
No, but I think for footballing, I think under Ten Hag, I think he would do well there. But I think Guardiola managing Declan Rice would be, unreal. But look, let's not talk about it now. Let's just enjoy him while he's still at the football club, and let's just hope that he brings that World Cup home and parades it around the London Stadium.
Well, I've got a couple of comments starred here, so let me milk my way through them. Mehmet says, I agree, take a huge lump of money and let's go crack on. Players come and go. Good luck to Rice. Can't blame him for wanting to improve his career. Like you said, he ain't going. Like you said, he ain't said he's going anyways. He's definitely going, but just not in January. We can't keep Deck because we have not reached the next level as promised to us by all the ball players and fans. Steve WHU Bell says, 899, thank you very much, mate. In all honesty, lads, I don't think we would begrudge him his wish to play for trophies and to play Champions League because he won't be doing that with us. More's the pity. Fair play to the lad. Mice Collective says, Declan should have said it was his boyhood dream to fight relegation battle under a defensive manager. John T says, had to laugh at Simon Jordan says it doesn't think he'd think Rice is anything special. Absolute clown. There's a reason why he's on the radio and not still owns a football club, mate. Richard B says the saddest thing about it is we all know we'll never be where Rice wants us to be unless a Sultan buys us. I think that's a Sultan anyway. Lee Bowering is not loyal. Ask Ireland. Easy, Lee. Samuel Ingram says Declan Rice come through the Chelsea academy. I don't think he did, pal. I think he come through the West Ham academy. I'm not saying he wasn't at Chelsea's academy, but if someone starts playing an Xbox and it breaks, they throw the Xbox in the bin and I pick it up and I fix it and I play the Xbox. It's the best Xbox I've ever seen. It's my Xbox. It's not fucking their Xbox, is it? Let's be honest.
Listen, that's like saying John Terry come through the West Ham academy.
Exactly. Daniel Wakeman says there isn't a single West Ham fan that doesn't know Rice at this moment in time. He's on borrowed time playing for us. Life will still go on. Let's just enjoy the guy. Absolutely. Like, don't make this last 6 months toxic. That'd be the saddest thing I've ever seen for a player of his quality. Everton and West Ham United will be getting relegated to the AFL Championship. Okay. Sniffer 1973 says, I hope he's got a crystal ball. If that had been Johnny Foreigner, you would have a different opinion.
Basically saying if it was a foreign player doing what Rice is doing, we'll be slagging him off. But because it's Declan Rice, that's not true. Because we've had players over the years, Di Canio being one of them. You know, he was too good for us. He could have gone. You know, I don't remember the fans giving him stick. He stuck with us. So I don't agree with that.
That is nonsense. Rice said in a different video last week that one of his best mates, John Terry, so you can imagine him getting in his ear, can't stand the bloke. Listen, I think he was in like a fucking, obviously his best mate's Mason Mount. And I think a couple of weeks ago he was playing baseball or something and they went and filmed it and he was in a Chelsea club video. Yeah,
but don't worry about John Terry and Mason Mount. His family are Chelsea fans as well, so they're going to be in his ear as well. So it ain't only the players and ex-players.
I don't know, mate. Like, I don't think Chelsea's going to be his next destination. I really don't. I don't think it matters about who they support and who's in his ear roll. He'll do what's best for him.
Let's be honest. Chelsea might not have Champions League football next season.
Exactly. You know. Completely agree, Nicky. He could have taken a big pay rise 2 years ago and forced for a transfer. Fair play to the lad, but Laura wants to improve. That question should not have been said in a World Cup. It's related to domestic clubs. Yeah, but that's fucking journalists for you. They always invite the wrong ones. Rats leaving a sinking ship. Rice schematic can be an Ashby. I see this Ashby news as well. We mice never run like that. Usual suspects. Scott, if Rice signed for Arsenal, could well get pissed on. What?
We'll explain off air.
Okay. You've had a bet, ain't you, with someone?
No. It's not to do that. I'll explain off here.
If Rice made us £100 million plus and did a Grealish with a big move and doesn't performance, how did he do with us? Then what? Just a fault?
Yeah, and this is the thing as well. Like, this is look. I'm not saying Declan Rice can't go and play in a bigger and better team, but you never know. He could make that move and it not work out for him. So it's always a gamble, but it's a gamble that a player like Declan Rice has to take for his career. But it might not always work out. You know, if he could go to Man City and then in 3 years' time be on loan at Southampton. You know, it could happen. We've seen that happen to players down the years. But Declan Rice is too good, I think, to not make that move and be good.
A football player's career is short. Their next game could easily be their last game. So, you know, like I said, we've just got to enjoy him while we can. You know, that's how I look at it. And you know, there's a lot of players. It's just we're not used to having players of this ilk, if you know what I mean, of this quality.
Yeah. It's been a long time. I mean, take away sort of Dimitri Payet in this bit, but it's been a long time that we've had like a world-class player at a football club.
Yeah.
You know, and Declan Rice is world-class. Despite what people say about his game, people that know football and watch Declan Rice know he's a good football player. You know, some people might think, yeah, like John's saying there, he's overrated. He can't pass the ball forward, blah, blah, blah. We watch him week in, week out. I've seen him pick it up when he has around 18 yards and run the whole length of the pitch with the ball. You know, people say he's not fast. You know, people say he can't do this, he can't do that. He sits back and allows other players to progress on the football pitch and express themselves, like he did with Jude Bellingham in the first game. And look what happened now. Jude Bellingham scored, you know, and was probably man of the match in that game. So, you know, it's, you know, like us that watch him week in, week out appreciate Declan Rice more than what some people see on highlights on Match of the Day.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you, mate. It is people who say he's overrated don't watch him all the time. You know,
people say he's overrated until he plays to their football club and they realise that he is. We got silent for.
No, you went all Metal Mickey on me.
Do you know what? I wasn't even in the stream. I've been talking for 2 minutes.
I don't know whether it's my internet or whether it was your internet. You went all bit.
I think it's frozen. Look, it's frozen in a little. Only way is Essex pose there. He did.
Am I moving now?
Yeah. Cutting in and out, mate.
My back?
Yeah.
You're back. Yeah. Let me take some more comments.
Yeah, no, my Wi-Fi went down, I think.
Yeah, I think your internet's going down, mate. You're at a bit of delay. Matt Rainey, £17.99 says, "You're right, Nick. Truth hurts, mate. I'm in two minds about the Rice situation. I want to wish him all the best. West Ham can, but West Ham over anyone and everything. I hope he don't go to my nephew. Don't go. My nephew and son loves him so much. Can we keep him beyond 2023? Sorry, mate, but I don't think we can. Rice started to look very overrated for us this season, and England in the World Cup. Don't care if he goes now. That's wrong. You don't know what you're talking about, John. I'm sorry, mate. Terry Basin says now he's officially made his feelings clear for the World Cup, for the world to see. We need to start thinking about life after it's gone, whatever that is. Do you think he should be our captain? Club captain, yes. Team captain, yes. Club captain, probably not. I don't think he should have been given that. I think that's why his performances have been a little bit weighed down. I think he's got too much responsibility on his mind. And Ginger, Andy Carroll, to TIWCFC says, boys, Declan Rice deserves his move. He weighed up us fans and club early doors by his ambition. We can't match his ambition. The owners aren't willing to try. Gutted, but he deserves to fulfill his dream. Here we go.
That's it. He does. You know, look, so long as he performs for us when he comes back, mate. You know, if he goes at the end of the season and he's given his all to this football club all the way till the end of the season, then he goes with my best wishes. As long as he don't go Spurs or Liverpool.
Yeah, that's it. Has anybody heard about this Ashby stuff?
What about him wanting to leave the football club?
Apparently, he's gone. He's been agreed to be signed by Newcastle or something like that.
This was back in the summer. They thought he was going to Newcastle or something. Apparently, what are the rumours about Ashby is that he's not liked at the club because of his attitude.
Well, they're not rumour. That's a fact. That's a fact, and I've been told that by someone, and that's a fact. His attitude's all wrong. And there's a lot of first-team players, senior players that don't get on with him. Listen, how many youngsters have we seen in the past 10 years leave this football club and really make it?
Not many.
None.
No, I can't think of any. I can't think of any.
Everyone sort of... I remember when Diagana left, and we was all upset with Diagana. He hasn't really done much. When Ngakia left, everyone... these players leave the football club because they get agents in their ears that are telling them, look, move, you can go here. Because the agents, all they care about is getting their sign-on fee and their money.
Yeah.
They don't care about the player's career. Like, Ashby going to Newcastle could be a great move for him. And it probably will be a great move for him because he is a good player.
Mm-hmm.
But if he don't want to be at the football club, then let him go. You know, I'm not too worried like if he wants to leave the football club. Sonny Perkins is the same. He wanted to leave. He's gone to Leeds. I think he's played one cup game for him.
Yeah, Leeds have signed him as a future player. But I'm with you, mate. If he wants to go, then let him go. But he broke into the team. He looks a very, very good right back. And the boy can cross a ball.
I was at Tottenham away in the cup last year when he played, and he was unbelievable. Yeah. I know we lost the game, but he was unreal that night. And I looked at him and I thought, you know what? He could have a big future at West Ham.
Yeah.
But if he hasn't got the attitude to work hard to try to get in the first team, then these players just think, oh yeah, look, I'm good enough. I'll be in the first team. No chance. You got to work hard. You got to work hard. You don't work hard, you don't get in the first team. Simple.
Yeah. And let's be honest, he's not guaranteed a game at Newcastle. You know, with the money they've got to spend, they could easily go and sign another right back.
He's got to fucking displace Kieran Trippier first, and Kieran Trippier's playing for fucking England at the minute. So,
and this is the thing, you know, it's a shame because he's a good player, but like you said, if the attitude's wrong, you don't want them players at your football.
Listen,
club.
You can have all the talent in the world, mate. All the talent in the world. If you haven't got the attitude that goes with it, ask Ravel Morrison where you end up.
This is it. This is the thing, mate. You're right. That's exactly it. You know
what I mean? Like, if you're a young kid and you've already got an attitude where you're upsetting people at the football club, it's not the right way to go about your career, mate. I'm sorry, but it isn't. Like, you get a reputation for yourself, and you know, don't forget, you know, a lot of these players who he's whinging at, he's more than likely to end up at other places with him in the future if he has a career. And they're not going to forget him.
No,
you know, there's a lot to say about that. I think it's the attitude of the kid. Look at Ngakia. I think he did about the same thing, didn't he?
Reece Oxford is a prime example.
Yeah.
He had one good 90 minutes against Arsenal, and he thought he was the best player in the world. You know, demanding this, that, and the other, and it was West Ham's fault as well for giving him that contract. You know. Giving him that 40 grand a week or whatever it was at that young age was wrong because it went to his head. But another one who had the same agent as Jermaine Defoe, you know, another agent, come here, I can get you more money, go there. So because all these agents care about is their money. They don't care about these players. They haven't got the players' interest at heart.
Yeah. And the thing is that you've got, instead of listening to the right people, they listen to the wrong people. And that's what you had with the likes of with Morrison. He listened to the people around him who blew so much smoke up his ass, you know, and that's the problem. You get big-headed players. You know, I think the comment there, Reece Oxford. I don't think that problem.
I don't think it's just people around them, Scott. I think they start to believe their own hype.
Yeah, but the people around them don't help.
But even still, like with Ravel Morrison. It's an odd one because, like, he had the talent. He had the talent. Like you see the likes of Alex Song saying he's the best player he's ever played with in training, best player he's ever seen. He's played with Lionel Messi. Do you know what I mean? In terms of talent wise and all that sort of thing. So, like, you can have a bad attitude. Grealish in his early days had a bad attitude. He had a really bad attitude. He was fucking, you know, according to most, a fucking disgrace. But, you know, he had the talent to back it up. Ravel Morrison had the talent. But it just shows you how far attitude and things like that can take you. Like, I've heard stories of Ravel Morrison about when he went to Cardiff on loan and that, sitting in the changing rooms on his own and sitting in the fucking canteen eating by himself and, you know, didn't want to fucking mix with anyone. And, you know, them sort of things, mate, like, you can have as much talent as you in the world. You can have all the talent in the world, mate, but you need an attitude and hard work and all that to, you know, to back it up. And if you don't do that, and if you start to believe your own hype, then you'll end up where Ravel Morrison is.
But that's
you know, Ravel Morrison has had a decent career out of football. He's made a living out of football. Ravel Morrison should have been playing at this fucking World Cup.
And the last World Cup.
And the last one, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you, mate. He had the potential to be something special. You know, for England, he had the potential of being the next Gaza, in my opinion. He was that good.
Yeah, but he had the wrong attitude, Scott. Yeah. And you're right, he did have the wrong people around him because he used to go home from training and go and hang around with his mates that were like in gangs and that. And he had the wrong people around him. And when you get two senior managers that have done a lot in the game, like Alex Ferguson and Sam Allardyce at the time, that can't control him, then no one's going to be able to control him. So as Nicky said, he's had a good career in football. Probably money wise, but career wise and what he's done, he hasn't done much. And there's been so many players like that over the years that have just had that wrong attitude and they've got involved in the wrong thing. And like there's other players that have grown up and decided to put that separate life to that side and can concentrate on your career. Prime example, Jermaine Defoe. You know, he was with the wrong people growing up. You know, but then he left them to one side and he went on to look what he done in his career.
We know half of them.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like he went off and he ended up playing for his country in the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is, mate. It is, you know, talent's the main thing, but attitude and you know, that's the willingness to actually push yourself to become better. You know, I think a lot of these youngsters, they see the likes of Ronaldo, Ibrahimovic, and the way they carry themselves with, like, you know, I am the greatest type thing. And instead of trying to prove themselves to be like that, they think they are like that. And I think that's a big part of it as well, is that players like Ibrahimovic and Ronaldo have earned the right to be like that. You know, they are as good as what they know they are. But that some of these youngsters just think, like you said, with Oxford, has one good game and thinks he is the next Ibrahimovic, you know, that type of attitude that I am the best. You had it with Glenn Johnson years ago when he got booted out of England under 21s for sitting there asking the players who played for championships, like, oh, what car do you drive? And then taking the piss out of them because they didn't have a posh car like him.
Who's this?
That geezer can't say nothing. He got caught nicking a toilet seat. So.
Yeah, Glenn Johnson, he got booted out under 21s because that's what he was doing, sitting in the change room taking the piss out of people's cars.
Yeah, he did. He did get caught nicking a shitter seat.
But the thing is, though, like it's too much money chucked at these young. And the thing is, social media don't help because just one youngster has a good game, and everyone goes mad on social media, and they read it, and it hypes them up. You know, and someone will tell them, like, you'll get a first team player say, oh, yeah, do you know what? You've done really well today. You can go to the top. And some players take that on board and use it as a positive, and some just use it as a negative. And unfortunately, that's why they end up going down the leagues and never having a career at the top.
Let me just answer this one as well, because, you know, we didn't, obviously we haven't had to pick a career over friendships, but, you know, we never grew up in the greatest of areas. You know, it was rough around where we grew up at times. And it says, it's right what you're saying, Ryan, but it must be hard to pick a career over friendships. If people are trying to drag you out of a career that would earn you hundreds of millions of pounds in it and fame and fortune and houses and all that, and they're trying to say to you, no, don't get involved with that. Come and knock around on a street corner with us. They're not your friends. You're not picking friendships.
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand that, and you'll always have your friends, and I'm not saying that you can't be friends with, but sometimes you've got to pick and choose, like, what you do, because Defoe could have easily, we know for a fact, don't go training.
Yeah.
Don't go train, you know, come and do this, come and do that. You know, if he didn't go training, he would never have had the career. He would never have signed for West Ham at the time, and he would never have gone on to have the career. So, it's I'm not saying don't ever, like, keep in contact with your mates, but just keep the right mates around you. Don't keep the wrong ones around you, because them wrong ones won't want to see you do well, and they're the ones that will be jealous and bitter and won't want you to have a career and a good life.
Yeah, the thing is as well, you look at someone like Carlton Cole. You know, his friends practically made him bankrupt. You know, by invest this, invest that, and in the end, they spent all his money that the guy was almost broke.
Yeah, but did you hear that?
As a Premier League footballer,
Colton Cole, man, like I love Colton Cole, but he's got the brains of a fucking rocking horse, isn't he? Let's be honest. Like, did you hear that story about what when he did you listen to the Mark Noble podcast?
No.
Did you listen to it, Right? You might listen to it.
The Jackmate one.
Yeah.
And
he said about Colton Cole was doing a business course, and he said to him, "Oh, what are you up to, Colton?" Like he works for West Ham, doesn't he? He works on a business course. He works on content for West Ham. And he said to him, "Yeah, I'm just going to a business course. I'm going to be learn how to be a CEO." And he goes, "Oh, really? A CEO of what?" And he goes, "Just CEO and that." That's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah. Just a CEO and that.
That was a great interview as well, great podcast.
I loved it, mate. Yeah.
And the thing is that's a podcast that's rare, because that was just a laid back Mark Noble talking like he was just talking on the street to his mates, and he was swearing and just felt relaxed. And when he goes back to the football club in January, he won't be able to do that. He won't be able to do interviews like that no more. So it was a refreshing podcast, refreshing interview. And Mark Noble was open and honest, and it was just a great listen. It was a great podcast. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it was open, honest. Showed a different side to it. With Nobes, it's like Nobes is quite reserved. I met Noble.
It's funny because during that podcast when he was talking about the fishing trip in Florida, like I knew what picture he was gonna, and I was listening to it on the podcast. I weren't watching it on YouTube, and I knew what picture he was going to show because I got sent that picture by my mate during the summer. That it got sent by his cousin because his cousin's best mates with Noble. So I knew what picture it was going to be. So in fact, I might even still have it. Let me see if I've got it.
It was refreshing because obviously Nobes is quite reserved, isn't he? He doesn't do a lot. He hasn't done a lot in the past. Every time you would have seen him from, the age of 18, 19, apart from when he does his Sky thing, he goes into it with media training, and it was quite refreshing to see him a bit. Do you know what? Like, I know this is a weird analogy, but a bit like the Undertaker. Like the Undertaker was the Undertaker for 20 years, and it was odd to see him doing interviews after as himself rather than the fucking Undertaker. That's how I see the Noble interview. And like, as Ryan said, like in a month's time, he will not be able to do that again because he's going to be with West Ham. And, we've had interviews lined up with ex-players and things, and they've gone back to West Ham and they just can't, they can't do it.
Mm.
So
it's like you said, it's just nicer to see the person instead of the footballer, if you know what I mean. Like you said, the media trained footballer, you're seeing the actual person come out and show their side.
I found it. It's that one. See it?
Yeah.
So that's the shark, and that is Noble. I promise you. Look.
What's he got on his head?
No, that's someone's arm. That's someone's arm.
I thought he had like a fucking mad hat on.
What, like a fucking Atty May Pierce hat?
Yeah. I thought he had like a fucking a little mad hat on his head.
Fuck that though. I couldn't imagine being in that boat catching sharks.
He's well into his fishing though. I know he's well into his fishing.
He's been into it for years.
Yeah,
especially, like deep sea fishing and that.
Mm. Yeah, do you want to? If anyone's got any questions to ask, Scott, go through some of the comments that I've starred as well, mate. You're better at organising the comments than me because I keep on leaving them starred.
Problem is, you don't delete the ones that you've already read. Yeah. So I'm going to have to go through them back to front. I think. Hang on, let me find where we stopped. Right, there we go. Rice, we read Rice. You have to bear with me while I just go through and talk about yourself for a second. So if we go back to the Ashby Ashby stuff here. There we
Talk
go.
about yourself, and then he just starts reading all the comments.
Game Master said Ashby reminds me of a young Glenn Johnson. Phil Brand says we don't need big-headed kids. Steve
Definitely don't.
You Bell says great point, Nicky. What a waste of talent Morrison was. It's a shame. Mark says Rice is not a loyal player. He dumped Ireland. Now he's dumping us. Take away the captain's armband.
Well, he's not dumping us, mate.
No,
I wouldn't say he was dumping us. Fucking hell. Calm down.
Doris from Northampton says Raul Morris had a lot going on off the pitch.
Of his own making, by the way.
Yeah. Candyman said, what school did the foe go to? I think
he went to St. Bon's.
St. Bon's.
Yeah. Oh, no, he went to St. Bon's.
Kimo said, it's right what you're saying, Ryan, but it must be hard to pick career over friendships.
Yeah, we've already had that one, Scott, and we answered it.
Sorry. Lord Farquhar said, Nick, you told me he was better than Ferdinand when they were both 15.
Yeah, Franz Ferdinand, not Rio.
Yeah, that's about it, yeah.
Matt Powell says, hey, Nicky, did you watch the Simon video from last Sunday?
No.
Do you know what? Was it I did see a video they posted. Was it when they're trying not to make each other laugh? And it was like really like fucking like proper bad jokes. Like I think that might be the video.
He says it was 4 of them were over at West Ham versus Palace game in those outfits. Yeah. What outfits?
That's the club one. That's the one the club put up.
Yeah, they were dressed a bit odd.
Yeah, they all look like they were dressed up like the Godfather, like pimps.
Really?
Yeah, and I think there was like Colton Cole was there. I think I ain't watched the video, but I think Ginger Pele was in it as well.
Oh, really?
Random.
I ain't seen it.
If this comes up, if the phone ever went to training, he would never ended up in Imogen Thomas. Which would be looks like this is talking about the Noble picture. Looks like he's got an Indian Chief's hat on, like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura.
I'm so glad you read that because I thought you were going to say chef's hat.
That's all the ones you've starred, mate.
Take some more then.
You could have been starring some more while I was reading them ones out.
Sorry, bud.
That's all right, no worries.
Switzerland are beating Serbia, by the way, if you're watching this. And Cameroon have just scored against Brazil. They're 1-0 up.
Wow. Brazil got their reserve card out?
Yeah, more than likely.
Oh.
More than likely.
So how did it end up, Scott? Coronation Street or EastEnders?
I'm waiting for... here we go. Roy May Jr. What's been the biggest surprise so far in the World Cup, good and bad?
Biggest surprise for me is that Wales thought they'd fucking beat England. No, I think the biggest surprise so far is how good it's been.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been really good. It's been entertaining. I think every game's been good, apart from some of the boring 0-0s in the beginning of the tournament. But bad, I don't know. I think some of the VAR decisions are atrocious. I mean, the one yesterday in the Croatia game, I mean, how they give offside for that when they was both sort of level. It was just his arm, but you can't score with your arm. So I don't know why they're giving that as offside, like the bottom of your arm. I can understand the shoulder because you can score with your shoulder, but I think it's just some of the VAR decisions that have gone on in this tournament. But the one yesterday, the German one was spot on. For me, that's goal of tournament. Give it the goal of tournament.
What one's that, mate?
The Japan goal. Great goal. Ball was in. Great goal. Great finish. Sent the Germans home. No doubt about it. I didn't even have to look at the replay, Scott. I knew that was in.
The thing is, it's when you look at the tournament as a whole, you've had some shocks, haven't you? You know, the Saudis beating Argentina, Japan turning over Germany
and Spain.
Yeah, you know, it's been some good ones, but it's been a decent World Cup. Like I think the bad has been the shocking VAR decisions. You know, like you said last night, mate, Karma is a bit of a bitch and he's dumped Germany out of the World Cup. And
yeah, but it was the right decision. It was the right decision. I've seen it over and over again.
Scott reminded me of Jimmy Corkill then when he done that.
It was the right decision. The ball was not out.
That ball was out all day long.
It wasn't.
Nah,
it wasn't out.
If that goal knocks England out, mate, you'd have a different opinion.
No, they've shown another angle of it. They've shown the when the goal line technology, and it is literally like a fraction. It's because some of the angles is the curve of the ball. They're saying so the bottom of the ball might be out, but it's the curve that was on. The line. you've got to think the base of the ball is not the point. The whole thing has got to go over the line, and it was in. It was in. Believe me, I've seen it. It's fractions of millimeters, mate, but it was in.
Yeah, but Scott, don't get me wrong, Germans and they're out, so that's the main. Well, it was a
Scott,
Spanish.
Don't get me wrong, mate. If that happened against England, man, I'll be going fucking nuts. I'll be playing that ball. I'll be like deflate that ball a bit.
But yeah, no,
it is tough. But listen, it's against the Germans, so it makes it even better for me.
Do you think? I think it has been a good World Cup so far, though.
I do. Take away all the controversy surrounding the tournament and where it is. I think it's been a brilliant tournament. I think some of the football, the games have been exciting.
Mm-hmm. Them two games that were 3-3 or 3-3 and 3-2. You know, there's been some very, very decent football this World Cup.
I think it's a tournament where anyone can win it.
Yeah.
I think there could be an outsider win it this year.
Definitely. It wouldn't surprise me, mate. Really, really wouldn't surprise me. No one's really said it alight to show that, they're probably the Dutch in a way, but no one's really like
the Dutch in a way. What?
That's the Dutch in a way. Their first two games, they weren't world beaters, but they went about their job properly and got the job done.
But so did Brazil.
Yeah. So
the thing is, the tournament starts tomorrow, doesn't it? Knockout stages.
Yeah.
You'll see it. You won't see the games. Some of the games as open as it has been. It will be like very tight, tense. I'm just looking forward to Sunday. There's nothing better than watching England in a international tournament when we're doing well and it gets the excitement, like the buzz going. Like I've been waiting, like since we beat Wales and I knew like we was through. I've just been buzzing. I can't wait till Sunday. Sunday just feels so long away. Like 7 o'clock Sunday night can't come soon enough. And I don't want to wish me life away, but I want to see it. I can't wait. And look, Senegal won't be easy. They won't be easy, and it'll be a tough game. But I think we've got the players. We can beat Senegal. I think we will beat Senegal. And hopefully, you never know what's going to happen in that other game. People are saying France this, France that, but the way this tournament's going, Poland could surprise everyone.
France were odds-on favourites to win the Euros. They was 2-0 up against Switzerland and went out.
Yeah, that's it. You can't rule anyone out.
You cannot rule anyone out in this tournament. Poland have been fucking shit. Let's be honest, they've been absolutely atrocious.
And they've qualified for the last 16.
And they're through to the last 16, right? But that don't mean that, at the end of the day, they've got someone like Lewandowski in their squad that can absolutely fucking rip people to pieces on his day.
It amazed me. He only got his first World Cup goal the other night.
Yeah, he does play for Poland, though, Scott. It's probably his first World Cup.
But they're every World Cup, Nick. You know what I mean? They're
not. They're not. They're not always,
every Euro.
Rashford's up for Golden Boot.
Yeah.
He's going
top scorer at the moment. Apparently, the Cameroon goal scorer got sent off because he took his shot.
Yeah. I see that. I see.
Where else we got?
They don't care though. No, they'll never take that moment away from him scoring in a World Cup for his country
to beat Brazil.
Matty says, "Who should start right back against Arsenal?"
Who fell?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Soufal or Johnson. It's got to be.
Geordie Toon for Life. Nicky, did you ever see Paul Goddard play? Sorry if you're too young.
Goddard.
No, I don't think.
No, I don't think I did. No,
Graham definitely did.
Yeah, Graham would have. Graham was his best mate.
B Banks. What Team USA player would be a good fit for West Ham United?
Pulisic.
Weah.
Weyer, yeah. Weyer's a good player. Pulisic. I'll take Pulisic in a heartbeat, mate. If listen, if the Declan Rice negotiations come down to it, yeah, and they turn around and said they'll put Pulisic in the deal, as long as we've got Gallagher and Pulisic, I'd take that all day long. Honestly, I think Pulisic would give us a different dynamic. I think we lack pace. He's got pace. He's played in the Premier League. He's done very well in the Premier League. He's just lost his way a little bit with Chelsea.
Yeah, he's a decent player. He's a good player. I was impressed with the USA against us. I thought they've got some decent players, but there was a few Canadian players that I would take at West Ham as well. Like,
mate, Jonathan David turns me on.
There'll be a lot of players that get a move to the Premier League out of this World Cup. Look at Enner Valencia when we signed him.
But they never work though, right? Look at when we took Barrera and fucking people like fucking Javier Margas and things like that. They never work for us.
Not only that, mate.
Right?
Gary Breen. We signed him off of the back.
Breen, yeah, fucking Breen. Yeah, but Barcelona, Inter Milan or Barcelona was going to sign him, so we had to slip in there quick. That was a load of bollocks, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
That was crazy, mate.
I'll take that Mbappe.
Yeah, he ain't too bad, is he?
He's all right, isn't he?
Roy May Jr. says, do you think USA beats the Netherlands with one testicle Pulisic?
That'd be an interesting game.
I think it will be as well. They've got on with it, Netherlands, but I don't think they've been well beaters.
I think for me, what lets the USA down is their finishing.
They should have beat us. Yeah. Let's be honest, they should have beat us.
And that's where they may come unstuck.
Yeah, we try and Winston Reid off the back of the World Cup.
Yeah. There's always one that comes out all right, but
wait, what's going on?
I don't know. Workman went upstairs. I don't know. No, I'm joking. It's Jamie, isn't it? Jumping on.
I think that might be where the USA come unstuck. Is their finishing that may let them down? Because, like you said, Nick, I thought they were good enough to beat us. You know, the chances they created, but they just didn't have that quality in front of goal. So give it. That'll be a good game to watch. I think that one.
Scott, how's Graham? I got a question. How's Graham?
Yeah, he's all right, mate. He's alive.
He's still alive, yeah.
He's alive. Yeah. I've got messages. I haven't seen the proof of life picture yet, but I've got messages saying he's fine.
Oh yeah, one of them ones.
One here. Do you trust Southgate?
Yeah, I trust him in what sense? Like trust him as a person? Like he's gonna rob you when you're not looking, or as the England manager? Listen, Southgate's got a massive decision to make. Personally, I mean, will he make changes to the other night? I think he will. I don't think he'll make many changes, maybe one or two, but he's got to get it right. I mean, I was watching on Sky Sports News before I come on here, and they're talking about like England in training taking penalties and practicing penalties, and they've got some geezers to come in and give them. And I'm like, how can banging penalties away in training? You can't even, because you're putting them away with fresh legs. When you've just played 120 minutes of football and the pressure on you, it's totally different. So I don't buy into all that. Fucking getting prepared. Just wait till the moment. Let's not even make it go to penalties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it. I think that's what he's got to do, and that's what he's got to have learned from the last two tournaments where we've lost. Is that when he's had the opportunity to go for it, he's retreated into a shell. So that's what I'm hoping he's learned the lesson from the defeat. Not so much when the defeat was it. We drew in 90 minutes, but we don't want to go to penalties. We've got the attacking players to get the job done.
The one thing I liked about the other night that was different from the USA game to the Wales is that when Harry Kane drops deep and he picks up that ball against the USA, he had no one dropping into his position. But when you look at the Wales game, Marcus Rashford was, and there was, and you see what happened. Kane played that lovely ball through, Rashford missed it. But every time Kane dropped deep to pick up that ball, Rashford was just dropping in and just waiting for that through ball. And that's what we lacked against the USA, and that was the only difference.
For me, I know there's a question coming up that I'll put up in a sec. But well, I'll put it up now. Actually, someone said here Saka or Foden. But for me, the front.
What's it? How the fuck does Foden like that?
But for me, the front three that started.
Who's that? Chelsea. Chelsea.
The front three that started against Wales is the front three that should start in the next game.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Like the thing is, like, I think Saka was good the first game. Let's be fair, he was really good the first game. He went a bit missing the second game. I think Mount was decent the first game. He went missing the second game. Like it was a bit of a tough performance. He did change it, but Rashford scored 3 goals now. You can't leave him out.
No.
I think Foden, he's an excellent player. You can't leave him out, and it just depends who he puts on the left or the right. I think
the thing is, mate, Phil Foden is a luxury, and I don't want to see him be treated the same way that Joe Cole was, wasted. And Foden has to be one of the first names on the team sheet for England. He proved it the other night. As soon as he drops deep and gets that ball, players panic. They don't want to go near him because they can't get near him, and he will just drop a shoulder and lose a player. And he brings players into the game. And that's what he done against Wales. And they couldn't handle that. So you can't drop him, but it's a big decision. It's a big decision for Southgate. And that's why he's paid the money to make these decisions. And it's tough for a manager because you can only pick 11 players to start. And you've got players that are going to be missed out and disappointed. But the only thing I like about this England squad is that every player that comes on is decent, is good, can change a game. You've got a Jack Grealish that comes on, wins free kicks around the edge of the box, makes things happen. People slated Harry Maguire before the tournament. Thought he was man enough against Wales.
Mate, I think he's been I think apart from Rashford, he's been our best player in all 3 games.
Yeah, him and Stones have got a good partnership. They've never let England down. I think Kyle Walker coming in the other night was a big difference as well. The only thing that with Kyle Walker is that we don't really want him picking up an injury, because if we do play France, pace-wise, he's the only one at the back that can keep up with Mbappe.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be losing him. But Luke Shaw ain't let us down. I think everyone's been doing well for England so far. But look, let's just get through Sunday, and you just got to take each game as it comes now. You can't think about France when you've got someone like Senegal waiting to play on Sunday.
That's correct.
Cheers, mate.
Changing the subject slightly, will you be watching the Fury Chisora fight tomorrow?
Oh, do you know what? I actually turned down a ticket for this last week because I'm out on my work Christmas do tomorrow, but I will be watching it on the phone. Or I'm hoping where we're going is going to have it on. But I think that someone said the ring walk's going to be about 9:30, which will turn into about 10:30. But so I will be watching it. I'll be honest, it's not a fight I'm excited for. I've seen it before. I went to the last time they fought each other at the XL. It's not a fight I'm really excited for, but I will keep an eye on it because I like Fury. I like boxing, but I think Fury wins within 8 rounds.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, mate, I wouldn't pay to watch it. Put it that way.
Well, whatever way you look at it, Chisora's his mate, and he's sorting his mate out. A nice little payday before Chisora retires. Chisora's probably got about another 2 fights in him, but. Yeah, I'll be out. I'll be out tomorrow on my Christmas drink meal.
Matt Powell says, "Have you met Chesney Hawkes?"
No.
What, the one and only?
He's messaged us a couple of times though.
I've met him.
Have you? When
he came over to the
when he was away.
While he was away, he came over to see us. Yeah.
What?
We did tell you. We did put in a group that he said, congratulations.
Fucking little pricks.
He
I didn't see it.
popped over to see us, yeah.
Man.
It was a European game, wasn't it, when we was away?
Yeah.
He does message us, though. I want to we'll do a podcast with him or something, man.
He was there with with all his family. They were all at the game together.
He done the fucking half-time show the other night in the England game.
Yeah. He's good. He's a really nice guy. Really nice guy.
We start wrapping it up. My dinner's here.
Yeah, we can tell you that half bit. It's half it's down your chin.
Sorry, mate. I'm only eating carrots.
Lord Farquhar, Christmas drink. Ryan acting like he's employed. Mate, I ain't been out of job since I was 16. I'm 38 now, so.
I think there's no more questions at the minute. Sorry. So, last one. Here we go. Yeah, that's one. That's a shout. Get Chesney on the next Friday Night Pint live.
You pay his airfare then, because he lives in California, mate.
Chesney Hall, we're lucky with money we've got. We might get Chesney from Coronation Street.
He did say with touring and stuff like that, he struggles to get to games and places. So you never know, might happen.
Yeah, that's my excuse as well.
Right place, right time. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's it. Dino H says, "Have you seen the Hearst doc?"
No, but I have got it to watch. I watched the Ronaldo R9, the proper Ronaldo one. That was unreal. Unreal. What a player he was, man. If it wasn't for his injuries, he would have broke all records. He was unreal. Yeah. Even with one leg, he was still pacing past people and no one could get near him.
All right, mate. That's what I'm saying. Like, I said this the other night with Ronaldo. He was 50% of the player he was at Real Madrid because of injuries, and he was still probably one of the best players in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was, if you haven't seen it, it's called Phenomenon. It's basically like it's mainly based around the World Cup 98 to 2002, and when he made his move to like Inter Milan, when he done his injury, he done his injury at Lazio, and like when the camera panned in, and you can hear him screaming, like you're like fucking hell, man, like that. And it was his comeback game as well. He'd been out for so long, and then he come back, and they brought him on within 10 minutes. It just went again, and the doctor basically said, "You're never going to play football again." And he just worked hard. He got back, and yeah, unreal. But yeah, there's quite a few documentaries. I've got that Italia 91 I want to watch as well. So many documentaries, but the Jeff Hurst one I've heard is really good, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll have a butcher's at that as well. Go on then, Scott. Start wrapping it up, mate.
All right, thank you very much, everyone who's been in the comments tonight. All the super chats, thank you very much. We appreciate it so much. We'll be back next week. I think Dan and Jace will be doing a watch along for the next England game on Sunday. So make sure you head over and see them then. But yeah, as always, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the show. And one thing left to say, boys.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons. Come on, you Lions.
Yeah.